Here on the south side of Youngstown lies Taft Elementary School. The school and its surrounding area is the focus of the Taft Promise Neighborhood Group. An example of their work are the recently improved sidewalks, curb ramps, and crosswalks that allow students to have a safe route to the school. But it wasn't accomplished alone.
No one or two or three agencies can meet the needs of a city.
April Alexander is the executive director of the Taft Promise neighborhood. She says that collaboration is key when it comes to serving the area.
There's room at the table for everyone to come together to meet safety needs and various needs, educational needs. It takes all of those agencies, none working in a silo, but all together.
One of those agencies is the Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation. Their mission is to help revitalize the city of Youngstown. One way they've been doing that is by working with groups of residents known as neighborhood action teams.
We don't have some secret recipe or plan for neighborhoods. Our first step is always going out and talking to people in all forms.
Ian Beniston is executive director of YNDC.
The team meets multiple times a year, so it'll come together and then prioritize work to get done. We have neighborhood action teams on every side of town in neighborhoods of varying levels of character and distress.
If you're ever driving around Youngstown, chances are you've seen the work of YNDC. According to the 2017 Action Team Impact Report, 43 properties have been repaired or rehabilitated, 256 were demolished, and 4,299 vacant sites had their grass cut. Tom Hetrick is neighborhood planner for YNDC.
If we were to go to a neighborhood and say, hey, this is what we think you should do, and then when it comes time to actually do it, we're not going to get very much support. But if it's the other way around, then it has a much higher likelihood of actually getting done.
While some projects are focused on cleaning up roadsides, boarding up houses, or demolishing them, others focus on beautification. The Rocky Ridge Neighborhood Association recently planted a grove of maple trees at the newly built Cusalabra Branch Library located on the west side. And up on the north side, this fall, Streetscape improved Wick Park by adding a disc golf course.
The things that we're most proud of are these collaborations or partnerships that we have with these other organizations. And I think it looks different depending on what project we're working on.
Sharon Letson is the executive director of Youngstown Streetscape. She says different improvements to the park were results of partnering with different organizations. One of those partnerships with YSU resulted in newly installed exercise equipment. Streetscape also holds an annual event known as Streetscape, which began 20 years ago. Its mission is to improve the look of downtown Youngstown.
This year, we have over 800 people doing 150 different individual plots and planters, 50 different locations throughout the greater downtown Youngstown, working with neighborhood associations throughout the city that never even existed even 5 or so years ago.
Associate Director of Streetscape, Phil Kidd, says the attitude within the community has changed when it comes to projects such as Streetscape.
If you were to suggest that that was going to happen to somebody 15 or 20 years ago, they would have laughed at you. They wouldn't have believed that that would have been happening right now.
Part of Streetscape's success is the result of working with groups across the city. As a newer organization, Taft Promise Neighborhood is hoping to see similar success from its collaborations that span across education, jobs and economy, health and wellness, neighborhood and safety, as well as resident engagement.
It takes both grassroots organizations, those organizations that are on the ground, running, connecting with residents and people, along with corporate agencies who have fiscal resources.
Really, residents are the reason that we're here. Residents are what make the city. We're here to improve city neighborhoods, and the things that we do are based on plans that were created with neighbors, with residents. So that's kind of the spirit of our work.
The perception of many of the neighborhoods has changed from being one of decline to some are seeing that their neighborhoods are improving a little bit and being more optimistic about the future.
If you look at all the work that we've done, so much of that has to do with that individual participation level, and all that has to do with our relationships from our partnerships that we have within the greater downtown area.
I think this really tells the Youngstown story about how proud people in Youngstown are and how willing they are to roll up their sleeves to work. But I do think sometimes it takes some forward progress for people to be encouraged to do the kind of work that's happening throughout the city.
717 has business banking on the go, mobile wallet, mobile deposit, mobile banking, and free e-business checking. 717 business banking on the go.